you can still get a good job. And,
sure.
and no matter what school you go to, you can excel in that school and you can be a high achiever in that school.
Absolutely.
100%.
That doesn't make you less than just because you're at a community college.
Absolutely not.
I'm all about what my coworker Austin calls the warm and fuzzies when it comes to employment. I'm all about that. I want nice coworkers.
Yeah.
I want to feel like I'm contributing and making good in the world.
Right.
There is a stigma, and I think that stigma is emphasized in college, prep, high schools, which somewhat makes sense, but it also doesn't. So just there's no shame. Like there's no shame in getting a 2-year degree over a 4-year degree if that's what you need and if that's what's best for you.
What makes us resilient? What makes some people continue to pursue their goals and dreams in spite of roadblocks or challenges? What if all we needed was an opportunity? Imagine if we trusted our talents, our abilities, and our strengths, then took a chance on ourselves. FutureProof is a Cincinnati State faculty and student-created podcast where students, alumni, and employers share adventures in learning outside of the classroom. We hope you will cheer, cry, and laugh along the way as we share our students' stories of resiliency in overcoming the odds. Find out what happens when we finally stop saying no and start saying yes.
Hello and welcome to FutureProof, the Cincinnati State podcast where we interview our very talented and successful alumni and hear their stories and their journeys after leaving Cincinnati State. My name is Jane Martin Dressing.
And I'm Amy Donbar.
And welcome, listeners. It is summer. We are back recording after taking a little break. And Amy's back from Italy, where she found out they don't really have Coke
Caffeine in America.
Cherry Coke Zero.
They do
because
not.
only Americans drink that, and really only the odd ones. So
I mean, you can't get a drip coffee. Americano is weird. And you can't get any diet drink over there. I tried to get a diet drink.
I feel like this summer I've seen more people traveling to Europe and going on these big journeys, and I guess it's just everybody's like, let's go post-COVID, let's do it. But it feels like a lot of people have been in Italy or Spain or Paris.
It's true. This was my first time to Europe. My daughter graduated from the same school as our guest.
As our guest. We're going to
Ursuline. We have an Ursuline.
That's a new one.
It's a new one, new principle, new terminology. But yeah, she graduated and she wanted to go. She studied Latin, so she wanted to go see
Nobody
Rome.
speaks Latin.
Nobody speaks.
Yeah.
No, she
wanted to go speak Latin.
Your daughter.
Yes, she took Latin at Ursuline, and she wanted to go see some of the things she studied in Rome. And so, yes, but we didn't expect to speak Latin. But I was also told, do not ask for Coca Zero.
Coca Zero.
She said, don't do that.
Don't say it like
I didn't
that.
know I did it. And she said, don't talk. Please don't talk anymore.
Just don't speak. Yes.
Well, so we're super excited about our guest today.
Yeah, so our guest today is Isabel Baumgartner, and she is the finance coordinator at the Boys and Girls Club and Boys and Girls Club of Greater Cincinnati. The Boys and Girls Club of Greater Cincinnati. And we have been a longtime partner. Cincinnati State has been a longtime partner of the Boys and Girls Club, and many, many, many students have gotten sort of their first job at the Boys and Girls Club. Students who say, I want to work with kids, or I want to do psychology, I want to do counseling. And I say, this is a great place to get started to work with kids. So I had the pleasure of going out and doing a little professional development training for their staff, their new staff, and continuing with their old staff. And at the training, Isabel approached me and said, I am a Cincinnati State graduate. And I love this because we'll be out in the community and we meet people And this is how we met Isabel,
Yeah.
who came at her job at the Boys and Girls Club very different because she's not on sort of the direct work side with the kids, but she's behind the scenes in finance. And welcome, Isabel. Thank you for being on the podcast.
Thanks for saying
having
yes.
Me. It's great to be here.
Good.
So you got to Cincinnati State in an interesting way. You are a graduate of a prestigious all-girls school in Cincinnati, as we mentioned, an Ursa Lion. Although I feel like you should be an Ursa Lioness.
Oh, yeah. We'll call their
shouldn't
market.
you
If
be?
you're listening, marketing at
Yeah, because the
Ursuline.
lions are male,
Right.
Or is lion a universal term? I thought
I mean,
lioness.
I think technically it's a universal term.
Oh,
Okay.
Lion is.
Like lionesses are still lions.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. It's okay.
That's
They're
better than
safe.
calling them lady lions. That's creepy. Remember when every school team was if they were the warriors, then they were the lady warriors.
Yeah.
That's sort of weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you had all sports teams at a
Right.
high school, they were the lady
Right.
chargers.
Yeah.
Okay. So Isabel, you I'm so curious because when you graduated, you were accepted to Xavier and planning to study music. And wow, this is big 360 to come to finance at Cincinnati State. So tell us a little bit about that journey.
What's that about? Yeah. So you're right. I'm not ashamed of it.
No, of course not.
I'm definitely not ashamed to admit that I was only at Xavier for less than a week, if that. But yeah, so
hey, that's better than 3 years and then checking out.
Exactly.
And let's pause a second here. And no one who we've interviewed with, or no one that I don't think anyone that we've met at Cincinnati State has said, I said I was going to do this. I did this. I did this, and this. And life's journey is often varied, right?
Yeah.
And so if you said, hey, my path was not straight, we're like, yeah, welcome to the podcast. Like, that's what we found. You're right on
that's
time.
the whole point
so
of the podcast.
It's there's no
scenic
direct,
route.
Scenic route.
Yes. I mean, that's
the road less traveled.
That's the thing that I came to learn was once you graduate high school, for some people, it's once you graduate 4-year university, college, then it's what next? And it's like your path ends, or you feel like your path ends and you're like, well, where do I go from here? And I know everybody says that, but it feels like there is no path laid out for you like
a roadmap.
Yes,
there's not.
Like there is in school. In
you
school,
kind of want a
very
GPS,
clear,
right?
Yeah.
Take me to my career,
Yeah.
and then just follow those coordinates.
But even then, you had to put in, your
No.
destination, where you want to go.
Well, and I want to give you a spoiler alert, my friend, which is no one feels that more than when you leave the hospital with your first child.
Yeah.
And you're like, there's no test, there's no manual, like there's no I don't have to kiss a ring. Like they're letting me take this baby out
It's true. I totally had that feeling.
Honestly, I think it's just I feel it every day. Every day is like, okay, I need to decide what the steps are in front of me. I mean,
so you get to Xavier and you're like, nope, not it.
I
One
hardly
week.
attended Xavier.
One week you said.
I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what do you think? Did you feel that going in, and did you kind of know it, but you're like, everybody's counting on me, or did you just kind of sort of reach this point where you felt like I can't back out? I'm already like everything's happening.
So I had a really difficult time in my junior year of high school at Ursuline, and I mean, it wasn't because of Ursuline; it was just with school in general.
Yeah.
I was so burnt out, and it was horrible. It was my first experience. That was the beginning of my realization that I have challenges with mental health.
What were you doing? Like, what were you doing?
What was it?
that caught, because you are a high achiever, I can tell.
I still am.
Okay,
I can tell. That's
so
why.
You think you were just setting the bar so high? Or
so it's many things. I didn't realize how much anxiety affects me. So I was just suffering and suffering, meaning setting high expectations and feeling like others were setting them on me, whereas I'm really setting them on myself, but then I don't know any different.
Yeah. Just constantly thinking about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I guess I can publicly come out with this. I recently found out I am neurodivergent.
Okay. Yeah.
Recently, as recent as April, maybe?
Yeah.
April or May. And so that's still very new, but I guarantee, like, not knowing that I was neurodivergent in high school definitely was part of the problem.
Yeah.
Right.
And so it's I'm only at the very beginning of the journey of.
And you said that, like, every day you're sort of saying, what's my reset today? Like, yeah.
I love that you're getting to know Isabel on this journey. Like, it sounds like you're coming into you and getting to know you, and nothing better than that, for sure.
Yeah,
I'm proud of you.
It's been a journey of self-discovery, for sure. And
keep doing it, friend. Keep doing it.
So you come to Cincinnati State, and obviously we don't have a music program here. I shouldn't say obviously, but we're a technical and community college, and you had been on this path to be a music.
Oh, the path was music. The path was
like
music.
Performance, I think, right?
No, yeah.
And you what was that conversation like when you said to your family, like, I want to go to a different school? Like, I don't think this is...
One week,
or
in one
there,
weekend. Can you tell us how it went down, please?
Yes. So because of my experience in junior year and how difficult it was, senior year was great because I made everything super easy.
There you go.
Okay. Course-wise.
Yes, I was like, okay, I'm just going to cruise now, which was a great decision.
In music performance, were you playing an instrument?
I have played piano.
Your whole life?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
On and off, but...
Yeah.
Piano, and I sing as well.
Wonderful.
So because I had such a difficult time in junior year, I basically, like, low-key experienced PTSD at Xavier. Not really. That's a hyperbole.
It's okay.
But
it sort of brought it back. It was like, oh
yes,
God, this is what I was trying to avoid.
Here's it again.
And flashbacks.
Here's it again.
These are the feelings that I was feeling in junior year.
Was it the people, or was it the coursework that you had signed up for, or was it a combination? Was it like all the, like, everybody's here, like, oh,
it was everything. Okay. It was all the expectations.
Okay.
And just back then, like, I had no idea. I still am learning, but I had no idea how to manage them, and part of being neurodivergent is a struggle with prioritization.
For sure. Okay.
It was all the expectations. There was that, but then there was also just, I knew it on a subconscious level that I was not ready for a university experience, and I didn't want it. I didn't want a university experience. I never did. Of course, there are lots of different university experiences.
Yes.
However, the one that I perceived the most was partying, drinking,
freshman year, let's go crazy.
Up night, staying up all night, going crazy, stuff like that, being irresponsible. And of course, I know that there are responsible college age students out there, and that's not everybody's experience, and that you don't have to, engage in that. My two older siblings went to OSU, and they lived that kind of university,
they
to my knowledge. Lived that type of experience, and they told me, you don't have to do that. Like, nobody's gonna, like, pressure you or anything. At least they shouldn't be. So But that was the image that stood out to me the most, and the one that is popularized in media. And
you didn't care to have
I didn't want any of that. I didn't even want to share a room with somebody.
Yeah.
Dorm life? No. I was set up to commute.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I was set up to commute because I was like, I had enough of living in a room with somebody else, meeting my sisters when I was younger.
Okay,
Yeah.
I had enough of that. I can't even imagine doing it with a stranger.
Yeah.
So, and especially now that I know I'm neurodivergent, I'm like, of course I felt that way. Like, no wonder. But yeah, the dorms, just that lifestyle. I knew I didn't want it, but I wasn't self-aware enough at the time to realize that I didn't want it until I was set up at Xavier University.
And so you said no. You said no. You pulled out of Xavier University and you went home. And then what did you do?
Surprisingly, my mom, when I told her, she was actually like, I'm not surprised.
Okay.
She could see it. I guess it's mother's instinct or whatever, but she had a feeling. My dad was not as happy. He's not one to make a big scene or anything like that, but I could tell the disapproval and whatnot. And it was hard for him. But it all turned out okay.
Yeah.
I mean, he came around eventually.
So how do you go from music to finance? Or did you immediately start in the business program when you came to Cincinnati State? Were you like, okay, you know what, I just need to get like a degree that puts me to work? Were you thinking that?
Yeah, how did you get here and get to finance?
Business. I never, ever thought I would do anything with finance or
I know.
business
I
or
don't.
accounting.
You don't usually see any
Never,
like
ever.
super creative, talented, musically talented people that also have this kind of math finance
See,
side.
I had that perception too, but if you talk to musicians,
they're all
True, I have
musicians
heard that,
will
especially
say-
piano players. I think.
musicians will say like,
yes.
"Oh, math and music they go
Yes,
together."
I've heard that too.
That like
People in the
music is
band, they're
just
all amazing.
audible math or something.
And when
It's
and if you
true.
can read music, that is totally like reading some sort of math
This
equation.
is why I'm not good at the guitar.
But so let's see. I've always been a musician. I've always had that in my bones. I've always been involved with music ministry, in particular with the Catholic
Nice.
Church. My greatest regret in life, not really, is not joining the children's choir in the 3rd grade. I
Way to
joined it in
go.
the 4th grade because if I joined it in the 3rd grade, by the time I was a senior, I could have said that I was in choir for 10 years.
Oh,
But I had to say I was in choir for 9 years. So
dang it.
I couldn't get that exact
Fire.
round number. Anyway, but always been a musician. So a family friend of mine actually reminded me of something that I said when I was younger. She was driving me back from choir, I
Okay.
think, from adult choir. And I said something like, I could just do math all day long. Like, I could do it like
Wow.
that. I don't need anything else. I can just do math all day long. And I don't remember
Wow.
the context other than the drive, but I said that and she reminded me of that
Wow, I
a
love
couple
that.
times, I think, but the one that I remember in particular was the time that ended up sparking that starting that train to business. Also, her husband recommended financial advising because after my high school, to the earlier question of what did I do, I dropped out of Xavier and then I worked as a swim teacher for a year and a half. that was a lot of fun. I loved that very much. But then I was living at home and I was like, I want to move out. And eventually I came to realize just this is the world we live in, that if I want to move out, I have to get some sort of post-high school certification.
Yeah, okay.
And
you got back to that question of
yes,
what do I really like? I've liked math.
Yes, what can I do that's I can actually know. I contemplated entrepreneurship.
Okay.
I really, really, really wanted to do that as
it's still
well.
business. I mean,
right.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I didn't think of it as business.
Yeah.
So that's probably the thing that really made me open to the business world was entrepreneurship.
What did you want to entrepreneur?
Oh, the big business idea I had at the time.
We're going on Shark Tank with this.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to put it out on the internet.
She don't want to tell anybody because somebody can steal her idea. This is copyrighted.
Oh,
pending, patent
well,
pending.
Well, no, I don't
pending.
know. I just feel kind of silly about it, but I envisioned like a music center. It was music focused.
Yes,
yeah.
music center.
I envisioned like a music center, almost like a music community
like a little school
center,
of rock kind of thing.
A place outside of the church.
Okay.
That you could go to sing in choirs and learn music and have music education courses that aren't in a school setting. So if you're an adult and you want to learn about music theory, you can take a music theory class there, but it's not in an expensive college or something.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
I had lots of ideas, but that was the idea. And so the lure of entrepreneurship is what opened the door to business in my head. But then I also knew, okay, that's going to take a lot of time.
Yeah,
and
I gotta get my own apartment here. So how am I gonna make some money?
That's a dream thing. Yeah. That's a dream. So what can let's bring it back. How can I move out? Like what can I do to move out? And then of course I was contemplating. I was also just gung-ho on not getting any sort of post-high school certificate or anything.
Okay. You had at this point really convinced yourself that anything that you were going to do wasn't school related. Like there was just like school was kind of the thing that maybe contributed to your anxiety. You had sort of like lumped all of school into this category of things that could potentially bring you down. Right.
Yes. Junior year, I started to hate
you get it.
school.
So then you get into Cincinnati State, and what you finally decided, okay, I'm going to commit. I'm going to maybe get my feet wet with this program, and you get to finance. Did you have some classes where you're like, okay, this is a totally different environment. This isn't like high school or Xavier.
It was completely different because I was online.
Oh, okay.
I did all online learning, which means for the most part, I didn't have to interact with other people.
Okay.
I don't mind interacting with my teachers. I love teachers. It's the other students that I don't really like.
All
but
right.
And it also meant I can somewhat go at my own pace, meaning if I wanted to, I could just not do anything one day.
Right.
And then I would just have to catch up the next day. So that was...
You felt a little more in control of the pace.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to leave. Like, I didn't have to go anywhere.
Yeah.
I could do it at home.
Yeah.
And...
on your terms.
Yes.
Yeah. And so while you were here, part of why we do this show...
Yeah.
And part of all degrees at Cincinnati State has a component of experiential learning attached to it.
And this is you did have to get out in the world for this.
So to meet your degree requirements for finance with a certificate in banking, you had to go out and do some co-op internship, something. And so it was there that you found your first in your internship with the Boys and Girls Club, correct?
Yep, my co-op, and I've been there ever since.
Oh my gosh!
So, how did you talk to us about your process of finding a co-op at Boys and Girls Club?
But now it's connecting for me, because at first I thought, how do you get from music to, finance? But this is all making sense to me too. And then the swim coach. I mean, you kind of had this sort of youth development
Kids
leadership
First, Boys
thing.
and Girls Clubs.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
beautiful.
okay, how does your co-op?
I'm all about what my coworker Austin calls the warm and fuzzies when it comes to employment. I'm all about that. I want nice coworkers.
Yeah.
I want to feel like I'm contributing and making good in the world.
Right.
You just don't want to sell widgets.
Even with your entrepreneurial idea, you wanted to bring music and touch the community in a nonprofit way.
Yeah. I mean, I like, quote, say that, I don't want to do anything with people. But at the end of the day, what I want to do is help people in some way and impact people.
Yeah.
And honestly, I mean, there are ways to do that in the corporate world too. Like Kids First. Kids First is not a nonprofit. So it's not that I am going to only work a nonprofit forever, but it's like, it needs to make sense to me why something that I'm selling or just whatever I'm working for, the company that I'm working for.
Oh, no.
Makes sense to me and
Absolutely.
makes an impact and is important to somebody.
I have a marketing degree, and I've said that all along. I have to believe in the product that I'm selling, i.e. whether that's Cincinnati State, co-ops, or, fundraising for the Red Cross. Like it's, and I get that so much. It has to be something that's in your heart. So your first co-op was with the Boys and Girls Club. And tell us what you were doing for them on your co-op.
Learning my job that I do now.
Oh, so your
still there.
It was with it was in your job now is financial coordinator. So did they as an
I was
intern
the financial coordinator co-op.
I love it. I didn't know they had you in a room with kids or if you were.
No, she was on the business side.
Admin office.
That. Thank you, Boys and Girls Club. I love that.
Yes, I am so grateful to
Shout
my
out.
now former boss, Joe.
Aww.
My current boss, Scott, is great too.
Shout out to Joe and Scott.
Joe.
Yes. I'm so grateful though to Joe for hiring me and taking a chance on a co-op. And I gotta tell you guys, Joe, he's partially retired now, but everybody revered Joe in the admin office at Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Cincinnati. And I remember hearing about how everybody was praising him and everything, and it dawned on me. I was like, oh my gosh. So that actually kind of reflects on me that he chose me to fulfill the position. And the CEO, Bill, was like, yes, it does. It does reflect on you. So that was a good feeling. And I mean, I heard that Joe, there was multiple candidates.
Yay.
And I can't believe it. I mean, he saw something in me. I brought to the interview. I think that this is my jokingly what I think got me the job.
Okay.
I brought a printout of an Excel spreadsheet that I did that was organizing and laying out the details of a holiday dinner for my family. So
whoa!
had
Can
the
you
name
send
of the
this to me? Like who's in charge of what? Did you also put
it
clean
had
up?
oven
Did it with
temperatures
clean up?
on it.
No.
Times, type of pan needed.
You're welcome at my family holiday dinner anytime.
I want you to add some columns for who's cleaning up. That needs to just be a
was
column.
that in there though? That might have been in there.
Clean up.
That was okay. Jane's adding to that.
Yes,
all right.
I love this.
If you want to be a part of any family holiday dinner,
if anybody showed up at a job interview with that thing, I'd hire them too.
Yeah,
that's brilliant.
Turn out and it was a good idea. I mean, Joe being the more professional guy that he is when I asked him about it once, and he's like, "No, I hired you because I saw that you were articulate," and I don't know. I don't really remember what he said.
Yeah.
But
you think it was the spreadsheet.
Yes, because I think that had an effect. Because I mean, it's stuff that I do now. I work in Excel nearly every day. I love Excel. I've done a few trainings in Excel.
Listeners, nobody has ever heard me say I love Excel.
No, I don't think I've ever heard anyone say I love Excel.
Me, no.
Wow.
But if they do, you better hire them.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure that there's flaws. Actually, I know that there are flaws. I'm not like the super guru of the gurus or anything.
I have yet to find a flaw, so convince me otherwise.
Yeah.
Convince me otherwise.
We love this. I love this side of you. Then you did this. So and then you stayed.
Mm-hmm.
And now are you, Isabel, now at the stage of your, 5-year, 6-year career
Almost
at
5. Almost.
Are you hiring students, and what are you looking for when you hire someone? Have you had the opportunity to bring somebody new in, a college student who might be sort of in that same place that you were, like, oh, I don't know if I can do this starting out? And
I don't hire. I don't have that power.
do you get to mentor? Do you get to meet
I
people
wish.
who are new? Okay.
Someday.
All right. Someday.
I haven't seen another Cincinnati State co-op.
Okay.
We need to change that.
Yeah.
We'll fix that. Goals
I
for
know
us, too.
that our HR, our VP of HR still comes and
Yes.
to the job fairs and everything. And so it would be cool to see a co-op.
Yeah.
I just think, I don't know, there must not have been the correct
Nobody has
opportunity,
been able
you know?
to top Isabel. They can't. Either there's like, they don't need anybody else. Now she's running the whole thing.
I mean,
She's
she
running the whole
brought a
show.
spreadsheet. There's big shoes to fill here.
I
for
am
co-ops.
only
no.
okay. There
Real
are only
talk.
2 people in my department. My boss, the VP of Finance, and
you.
me.
Nice.
Everybody else in the admin office is other departments, and we need them all.
Yeah.
So
Yay.
I am not the like big fish in the admin
No,
office.
you're good. You're
Absolutely not.
So I want to bring up a topic that you shared with me, or that you brought up, and you've mentioned it a little bit on the show. And when I did the training for the Boys and Girls Club, you came up to me and you said, there really needs to be some training, professional development, and some part of this training that says, how do we support neurodivergent employees, and what could either be different about this training or more inclusive in this way. And I just wanted to know if you've given some thought to that, as now almost 6 years into your job of almost 5. What has helped you, knowing what you know about yourself, and what maybe could improve, what employers or schools or organizations could do to maybe be more inclusive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I can tell you, just in that training, I remember we were talking about soft skills, and there was things like, I don't know, maybe personable or flexible, or maybe even like punctual, I guess. Yeah, those are good soft skills and stuff. And the only thing that I was really pointing out and saying, though, is that if someone is neurodivergent, it might be harder, or it's probably going to be harder for them to focus on certain things, or like being punctual, things like that. And so when it's just, that's the thing that I was thinking when I was in that training. I was thinking, well, there's that soft skill, but like somebody who's neurodivergent, that could be really hard for them. And so I guess it's just maybe like every employer, when they're hiring or something, needs to be cognizant of maybe this person is neurodivergent.
Where do we show some grace around and sometimes about what skills do we put forward or prioritize in terms of someone's abilities or strengths where we might really be missing out on helping them shine in some of their areas that are truly their better qualities, but they don't seem to get prioritized in the same way.
For sure. Just assuming not everybody's like us, and just a broader understanding of just what neurodivergent and what that entails and what people like that might be feeling, because we don't know what we don't know.
There's tons. I haven't done too much. Again, I'm still on the very beginning of the journey, but I mean, I've always hated the interview process. I mean, everybody does, but in particular, this probably ties into neurodivergence as well. Throughout my life, and this was an issue in school, was being rushed. I do not want to be rushed. Like, yes, I can meet a deadline, but I'm talking, you expect me to write a 5-paragraph essay in 40 minutes? Like, I don't, that is contradictory to me. If you're going to tell me write an essay in 40 minutes, then why are you teaching me this whole
a process,
brainstorm, draft, revise, draft?
So interesting that that's a contradiction to the way that we teach pre-writing and process, and then say go.
So I'm like, well, obviously you're gonna get crap.
Brainstorm now.
So what are you expecting? So just that whole thing. So the
on-the-spot nature of an interview has always been difficult.
The on-the-spot nature of interviews. I mean, I think I think I'm a lot better. I don't think I was ever necessarily not good at spontaneity, but it used to stress me out.
Yes.
And it used to make me really anxious, like somebody asking me a question and then my mind going blank, or and I don't know what they're going to ask me. I don't know what they're going to ask me, so how could I possibly prepare for something when I don't know what they're going to ask me?
Yes. That's wild.
You're nailing it here, by the way, P.S. You're doing great with us, so excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent job. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
So what are you doing now? I read something that you're working on another degree. Can you tell us what you're working on now?
Yes. So I am on the side working on a certificate to become a director of music at a church.
Oh, nice.
And I read something about sacred music. Can you talk about that too?
So it's with the Sacred Music Institute of America.
Yeah.
And I think it is a great program that has lots of potential. It's relatively new, so they are growing and they are working out kinks. However, I think it has lots of potential. So the unique thing about it is that everything can be completed online.
Okay. And when you say sacred music, is it really pulling from is it ecumenical? Is it different religious backgrounds, or would you say it has stemmed from a particular tradition, like Christian tradition?
I think it stems from Christian, specifically Catholic. However, they do, in one of their classes, they do have a section about where they go over different religions and different branches of Christianity. And so the teachers and the instructors there know that it's a possibility somebody might end up working at a different Christian church other than Catholic. Or, they might even go play at a Jewish synagogue or something.
Okay. So potentially is the sacred music for weddings, funerals, more than that, or just services? Where do you see getting to utilize your certificate? What would you see as like would be my dream if I could land this?
That is $1 million question. Actually, no.
That's our Janester, Diane Sawyer here interviewing with
maybe just a $500,000.
Yeah.
Laverne came
So
out.
wow, I'm just like putting it all out there.
Okay.
But hey, he should know. The world should know.
Okay.
My dream for a long time has been to take over my current music director's position when he is ready to leave and retire and whatnot. And so, I mean, it's gonna be a ways because he's not.
And you're training.
Yeah.
You're taking this serious.
But that is my dream. Like I dream about like having that office and inheriting his mug that says, "What part don't you understand?"
I love this.
And so I dream of that. He has been my mentor throughout this whole thing. He has taught me a lot. He was the teacher that I actually jived with in piano. And yes, I cannot speak higher about him, but
shout out to music directors and music people in general who've
but I don't
so
expect
much
to
nurturing
do that right away. That's
but wait,
because right now you're solving all the financial
yes.
A way to speak your goals and your dreams to the universe. It's something that we encourage highly as folks working in career stuff. Is
now
to speak.
People are watching. I guess
it's all right. It's all right. It's all
They're
right.
just listening. They're not watching. They're just listening. Right now.
They wanted to put us on camera, but they haven't figured out.
I know. But it is important to speak those goals out loud, and to recognize that music played a huge part in making you who you are, and you want to inspire that in other people. And
and I will say there are different types of musicians, and I'm not going to put them all in categories, but I will say if there's anybody listening to this that's a musician and that is thinking that gets super overwhelmed or is like, oh my gosh, that's a high bar, or if there's anybody out there who thinks that I am a super chill musician who will just play like that and who understands all the theory or who will improvise and do whatever and isn't nervous at all, you're wrong. And that's what I strive to be, honestly, is getting closer. That's the goal as well, is to be more of a less anxious musician, I guess. And I mean, I do have a lot of right now I have a lot of performance anxiety because I haven't done it a lot. I haven't done it a lot at all, but there were times where I was playing at church fairly regularly, and so I got used to that. So it is a thing you can practice. I don't really have performance anxiety when it comes to singing. But I guess one thing that I wish non-musicians would know also, and maybe this is a neurodivergent thing, I don't know, is don't expect musicians to just play for you. Sometimes they will. I mean, there are personalities like that.
I was getting ready to ask you to sing.
Oh, but
sorry.
Because if I play the piano for someone, you're so vulnerable.
And
we're not asking.
You're sharing. You're sharing a part of you with that person,
for sure.
And so, and it's you practice alone.
Mm-hmm.
No, I get that.
It's intimate and everything, and so, just in
sacred.
It's like it should be up to the musician to decide whether they want to perform. I haven't even played the piano in front of my boyfriend yet, actually.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He hasn't played the trombone in front of me either. But that's because he says he doesn't play solos.
Oh, okay.
Isabel, you have touched our hearts today, and with your honesty and your candidness and your willingness to tell your story to us. And I know that there are listeners out there that identify with your story 100%. So thanks for sharing that with us today and being honest with us today and being vulnerable. We appreciate
Absolutely.
that. We appreciate that.
So glad to hear that you landed in an awesome spot that's a good fit for you, that allows you to pursue these other goals and dreams that you have. And sounds like you have a supportive team around you. And also that Cincinnati State was a place that helped you build that scaffolding that you needed and that confidence to go out and land your first co-op that has led to a career. And
yeah, I cannot stress enough the co-op experience. I think it's absolutely fantastic that you guys require it.
Yeah.
Preach into the choir.
Whoop, whoop,
Yes.
whoop. Shout out to experiential learning.
Whoop, whoop. Co-ops, I mean, also just, the thing that I appreciated most about Cincinnati State was the flexibility of online learning, which I know after COVID, some people out there might be like, online learning.
Nope.
It was a gift for lots of people and a challenge for others. I mean, just like life, you know?
Yeah. So, but for me, like, it opened a door, and there were times where I was like, I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can do it. I don't want to do it. But, when I finished that class, I was so happy. I was like, oh my gosh, I can do it now.
Yeah.
I did it. I actually did it.
Yep.
So,
And you did commencement? Did you do commencement?
So I did the drive-through.
Oh, that's right, because it was pandemic.
Yeah.
We had a drive.
I graduated in 2020.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
Well, Isabel, I know that you don't like on the spot. Do you have a favorite hymn, a favorite sacred little hymn?
Are you going to ask me to sing it?
No.
Maybe
no,
just.
No. Well,
I'm not?
Well,
Okay.
No, we're not.
Right.
We're
Okay,
not.
we're
If
not.
that happens, if it happens to happen, we're okay with that. But what is your.
I haven't warmed up.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Fair enough.
And I'm out of practice.
Okay.
So, but no, I think the one that comes to mind is the Servant Song.
The Servant Song.
Which one? And this isn't me tricking you.
Yeah.
But I love good hymns. But which one is that? And I'm not asking you to sing it, but can you get me there?
I don't know off the top of my head who it's by, but the lyrics are, "Will you let me be your servant?"
I know.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
"Let me be as Christ to you."
Yep. I know. ... I'm with you. Well, will you please stay in touch with us and keep us updated on all your success?
Sure.
Please. We want to hear what you're doing. And
when you launch your music school and your sacred music training center, we want to hear about it.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Isabel, for joining us today.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Good luck.
And to our listeners, don't forget to like and subscribe to our FutureProof podcast to catch all of our new episodes and to continue. What'd you say? And what?
And check out Boys and Girls Clubs.
Club.
Follow them on social media. Donate.
Yes.
And to find out what happens when we stop saying no and start saying yes.
The FutureProof podcast is brought to you from Studio 459, up on the hill at Cincinnati State's main campus in Clifton. This podcast is produced in conjunction with the Cincinnati State Audio-Video Production Program, its students and faculty. If you like what you heard here, please hit the subscribe button. If you're an employer or potential student interested in the programs Cincinnati State has to offer, please visit cincinnatistate.edu.